and thanks so much for clicking on today's video. First of all, before we get all into it, guys, we made it to 1,000 subscribers. That is a wonderful achievement. Like, I know that is minuscule compared to so many different creators out there, even in Kenya, but for me it's a big deal. So thanks so much for just hanging out, choosing me, and being here for this. I'm about it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, then join the fam gang. It would be lovely to have you on board. I do see a lot of you watching my videos without subscribing, so please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That would be amazing. It's absolutely free. Join the fam gang. I'm really excited. So for today's video, I thought I would do a little bit of a 2-in-1. As you can tell by the title, I'm talking about things to do with employment, work, and specifically working in the humanitarian sector, which is where I work. I get a number of DMs every so often on Instagram from followers and subscribers asking me about how I got into this sector and to give them a little bit more information. So I try as much as I can to kind of respond to those comments, but I thought I would do just a little bit of a video on it to kind of give a few hints and tips for you if you're thinking about working in the humanitarian sector or getting involved, how you could do that, where to look, what resources you need, what kind of skills you need to be able to get involved in this sector. I can only really talk about from my own experience, so as per usual, please make sure to leave a comment down below if you have a further question, and I will try my best to answer it. I didn't want to just sit and talk at camera, so it's a little bit of a get ready with me format. So I'm getting ready and I'm trying out a few new bits of makeup, and I'm talking you through those new bits as I give you some hints and tips and information about the sector. Does that make sense? Yes, so it's kind of more like a beginner's introduction to the humanitarian sector. So I hope that it is useful and you enjoy my new makeup and that you like this look. If you'd like me to do more informative, educative videos, leave a comment down below and give this one a thumbs up so that I know that you like it. Don't forget to subscribe again and follow me over on Instagram. So let's just get started. Alright, so I'm starting off with a completely bare face, and that's because I wanted to show you guys this. This is my new sunscreen. So this is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel Lotion Sunscreen SPF 50. So I read a little bit about this and watched a few videos about this online because I've been looking for a new sunscreen. And this is black girl friendly, you all. So I just wanted to show you basically so that you could see what it looks like. So it comes out in a kind of like pale blue, white, creamy gel. And of course I just want to put that all over my face. SPF is crucial, you all, like especially if you are struggling with like hyperpigmentation and trying to clear your skin, you need to be wearing SPF. Even as it's like grey and rainy out, the UVA and UVB rays are not playing with you, so please make sure that you are using SPF. So I wanted just to show you this because look, absolutely no white cast, and it doesn't feel greasy. It looks a little bit dewy, I guess, on the skin, but it doesn't feel greasy on the skin, and it sinks in, and I feel like, yes, I'm on it. So I just wanted to shout this out because it's amazing. I picked this up from Beauty Bar Kenya, I think, for 1,800 shillings. Yeah. Alright, so before I get into all of this video, I need to do my eyebrows. So I am just going to quickly speed through this bit, finish off my eyebrows, and then I'll come back and we can start having a bit of a chat. I am going to use a primer, and that is my Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. You guys know that I love this stuff. So I want to lay that down kind of on top of my eyebrows, just so that there's no slip as I come to apply my gel onto my brows. Yeah, alright, so just gonna speed through and you'll get to see this bit, but see you in a sec. Alright, so eyebrows are done, eyelids are primed, so moving on to shadow. So you guys will have seen me post this palette on my Instagram stories. It's basically a magnetic palette that I bought, and basically I'm just filling it with single shadows. Most of these are Colourpop, a few Morphe. Yeah, but I'm basically just filling it up as I go. And I really have an urge to use this colour right here. It's like a corally peachy pink. It's called Centerfold by Colourpop. So I'm gonna go in with that. I don't really know what the entire look is gonna look like, to be honest. I haven't really planned it in my mind, but I just know that I want that colour on my lid. So I'm going in with a fluffy shader brush, and I'm just going to pack on that colour onto the brush and start applying it onto my lid. I want this colour to be the kind of focal point of this look, if that makes sense. So I haven't set this concealer because I want it to really give me all the colour payoff that I can get from it. And I haven't put down any other transition shades or anything else, just because I don't want to lose any of the pigment in this coral shade. It's just so pretty. And this is one of those colours I think that would look really good on everyone. Okay, so I have been working in the humanitarian sector for basically all my professional working life. So once I finished uni, I ended up back in Kenya. I've covered the story about how I ended up and my mum convinced me to come and stay. But it was basically completely by accident. I did a law degree for my undergraduate, and I really didn't want to go into the typical practice of the law. I got completely turned off that when I was in uni. I just didn't want to do it, but I didn't then know what else I was going to do with my degree, because I was just like, right, okay, so what kind of work will I do? I really didn't know much or anything at all really about the humanitarian sector, about what kind of people they were helping, what kind of sectors they were working in, etc. So I very much learnt about the sector as I went along, because I started off as an intern and then proved myself as an intern and was later offered a job and kind of progressed through the ranks in that way. I should mention, if you're not familiar with how humanitarian organisations are structured, typically it's on 2 tracks. So there is basically the core of what the humanitarian sector does, which is typically known as program. So if they're providing water to arid areas, if they're providing education to children, if they're providing health services, if they're providing food, that is known as the core program. And then there are support services, which basically are things like the finance, the HR, the admin, basically everything that you need to run any type of organization. So those other departments. So I have always worked in the program department, and my specific area when I started out was working in the grants department, so supporting on writing proposals to donors and getting funding and reporting on the funding that we would get to donors, and that's basically where I cut my teeth and got myself into the humanitarian sector. You can also enter in terms of program on something more technical. So say for example you are a teacher, or you have a teaching background, or you've done education, or something like that. You could go into the specific technical area for education. Or if you're a water engineer, you could go into the specific technical area for providing water to the different communities. So the NGOs that I always worked in have worked in with displaced people, so refugees, IDPs, and people affected by displacement. There were a lot of different NGOs in Nairobi working on a whole host of issues. So I think the first thing I would say is just to do a little bit of research about what different organizations do and to find basically your interest, like which type of issue is it that you care about. So as I say, if you really care about governance issues and making sure that, you know, a country or countries are securing those rights for its citizens, then you might want to do that. If you really care about freedom of expression and because you feel that there's a stifled space, you might want to talk about that. If you care about displaced people, you might want to talk about that. Really just find what it is that you are kind of inclined to. I would definitely say that for me, working with displaced populations is kind of my thing. Not because of my own specific experience or anything, but I just found that that was what I was very interested in, and I don't know if that was by form or by design, but yeah, that's what I found interesting. So if you are coming straight from campus, or you are coming from a completely different sector, like private sector, into the humanitarian and NGO sector, then I would say don't set your hopes too high and think that you are going to enter on a really high level. The humanitarian sector and how it works, the language that we use, the way that we look at programs and projects, the way that we deal with partners and donors and fundraise is very different from the way other organizations work and other sectors work. So you will just have to kind of learn as you go, which then means that you should peg yourself and really get into your head that you will be entering it more at an entry level than at a very high level, unless you have a very specific technical skill. Chances are, if there's an advert that goes out and it is for not an entry-level position, then they will ask for some kind of experience in the humanitarian sector. So if you don't have that, I would just say humble yourself and think about starting at an entry level. So that could be an internship, or it could be like say for example, an assistant position. Okay, I'm just switching brushes to a long fluffy head brush because I've packed on all that colour onto the lid. I now just want to use the same colour but with this brush to basically just diffuse what I've got going on the edges to make sure that we get a nice soft blend going up. And this is a clean brush that I'm using, so I'm just taking my time. I'm just doing circular motion and wind wiper motions just to try and help that blend in on the outer edge. And then I'm just using the same brush again, and I'm going into the Jaclyn Hill palette into the shade MFEO. And it's kind of like a caramel with a pink undertone, so I'm just picking that up onto the brush, and then I'm going to apply that right near the brow bone. Right, I think I'm actually going to leave the eyes like that. I thought I would start incorporating a lot of different colours, but I think I just want to leave it as almost that one colour look that you guys have seen me do before in that video that I did some time back. So let's just get into the face. So I'm just going to apply some more primer to the rest of my face. My face has been really oily at the moment, and I don't know why or what's going on. I don't know if it's because of the change in weather or something else, but I'm finding myself being a little bit more oily than I guess I would expect in certain areas of my face. So I am just going to go in and powder my face lightly with a loose powder, the Colourpop No Filter setting powder. This is in medium deep, so I'm just going to apply this to my nose and cheeks because that seems to be my worst area, and then just for good luck, a little bit between my forehead and on my chin. For foundation, I'm just going to go in with my Lancome foundation. It's easy, I don't have to think too much. And you know what, I haven't used this foundation brush in a while. This is the Wet n Wild one. So I'm just going to use that to apply this. So in the humanitarian sector, jobs are very competitive. There are a lot of jobs available, particularly in this region and Kenya as well, just because we have the UN headquarters here, so a lot of INGOs, that's international NGOs, have their regional headquarters here in Nairobi. And then of course a lot of operations going on in the countries surrounding as well. So if you are looking for a job in Kenya, then, I said if you are looking for a job in this sector, then just know that it is going to be very competitive. So you really do have to make yourself stand out to be considered as, you know, a possible candidate for this. So the simple rules that usually apply in terms of making sure that your cover letter actually talks about the things that were in the advert and you can show how your skills link up. Your CV is tailored and you're not just using one CV, one size fits all to apply for a particular job. That you actually show a desire for working in the sector and with that particular organization. So these are all just kind of common sense things, but things that kind of take you a little bit further. And I can only really talk about the program side. Is things like, so you might have a technical skill, but if you have, for example, skills in handling budgets or, you know, project management, you've done a training or you have actual experience doing that kind of thing, that will take you a little bit further and that will make somebody consider your CV, I think, against others. If you have what are usually called cross-cutting skills that look at things like human rights, you've studied it or you've worked with something on human rights before, if you've worked on anything to do with gender analysis, if you've done anything to do with M&E monitoring and evaluation, those kind of skills alongside your technical core capacity skills or your education will get you noticed a little bit more than others. Also language skills take you a little bit further. Doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, your European facing languages, things like, you know, French and German, although for some organizations that is important, and depending on where you're looking for that job. So for example, if your organization is working in, I don't know, Burundi, French might be an asset, or DR Congo, French would be an asset, you know. But other languages as well, if you speak Somali, if you speak Tigrinya, if you speak Amharic, something that will make your CV stand out a little bit more, then I think that kind of sets you up to be in a place to be considered a little bit more than other people who might not have those specific skills. I've just gone under my eyes with my Makeup Revolution concealer, and I just want to add a little bit more because I need to kind of create a sharp line here on the side of my face where the eyeshadow is. So I'm just getting a flat-edged brush to basically cut in that line. Also, if you've done anything with communities before, you've volunteered for a project up country in your village on, you know, drilling a borehole or something, you know, just add something to your CV that will make it stand out. But I think one of the things that I've seen so many times when you get a lot of applications is really that people haven't taken the time to read the advert and see whether their skills actually align. I would say if your skills align maybe like 70% of the way, then spend your time applying. If you don't have any of the qualifications that are being looked for, don't waste your time in putting in an application. You're not going to get a call back. So just really be strategic in terms of how you apply for these positions. Yeah, that's what I would say. Another word of advice is to be open in terms of location of where you want to work. So I know a lot of people want to work in Nairobi. Sorry, I'm just going back into that Santal shade because I want to just darken up this outer edge. It's looking a little bit pale. So a lot of people are fussy and say, no, I just want to work in Nairobi. But you have to open your mind to wanting to go to different locations. So it might mean that, you know, you actually end up working in northern Kenya or a remote location somewhere. Because what you want to do is basically get your foot in the door. Nairobi jobs are notoriously competitive. And it is almost a little bit of luck, or maybe you knowing somebody who can open the doors here or there. But if you're applying on blind, then I would say just keep an open mind. Now I'm going in with a little bit of bronzer, and I'm using the Black Radiance pressed powder in Ebony. I love this stuff so much, and I'm going through it like water. I need to buy another one. Yeah, what else would you want to know? Salary-wise, I think it depends on which organization you're working for. If you're working for a big, very well-known INGO or local NGO, you will get paid a decent salary. I can't really speak to exact figures. I don't think that's for me to say, but people who work in the humanitarian sector generally get paid quite well, and there is an element of job security for as long as you can secure donor funding. So if you've been hired for a specific project, you might be tied to that particular term. So say the project was running for like 2 years or something, your position might be 100% funded by that donor and that project, meaning that when that project comes to an end, then there's no guarantee that, they'll find another position for you, because hiring of people is based on whether there is money coming in from donors. So that's just something to bear in mind. When you're applying for a position, maybe you want to ask, is it tied to a specific project, or is it a position that that is funded by multiple donors, and so there's some kind of job security. Typically most contracts, unless they are these ones that are funded 100% by one specific donor, will be just a year long. So you'll get your contract and it will say maybe January to December, or if you join in July, then maybe July to December, like that will be it. So it can be a little bit scary when you think about it that way, but most chances are, if you're working for a stable organization, that you will get a roll-on contract. I've never been terminated from a position myself because there wasn't any funding, and there's always been funding available because we seek for the funding to make sure that the work can go on, and for the work to go on you need the personnel. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to put on a bit of liner, and I am using this, which is brand new. This is the Colourpop liquid liner. It's the BFF liner in the colour Numero Uno. It's black. It's a pen liner. I used to hate these things. I think I got on this bandwagon immediately. They first came out years ago, pen liners, and I didn't like them because I don't think they had figured out how to make them work well enough. They were kind of like prototype things. So I never liked them from the beginning, and I've just been using my gel liners and then back to liquid liners very recently. You guys know I love the Revlon liner, which I'm always telling you guys about. This one, the skinny one, but I got this and I really like it. So I'm just going to show you. It's so easy to draw on. It's got a really nice fine tip, and you don't have to press on it for the liner to come out. It just does what it needs to do. So I'm just going to start doing a bit of liner. I'm going to stop there because I'm not sure whether I want to do a wing or not. but I am just going to come in and do the inner part of my eye. God, this is hard to do. Guys, my eyeliner. I did that thing where I was like, oh, just add a little bit more, just add a little more, and now I look like a panda. I wasn't gonna wear false lashes, but now I have to because they look ridiculous just like this. So I'm just gonna whack on a little bit of mascara, and I'm using the Colourpop BFF volumizing mascara in black as well. This is called Black on Black. So I'm just gonna put on just a tiny bit of this to basically help blend my lashes and the falsies. So I guess the final topic that I just wanted to quickly touch upon is where to look for these jobs, and where to do a little bit more research about the humanitarian sector and what's going on. So there's just one website that I want to tell you guys about, which is a massive resource. So it's called Relief Web, and I'll make sure to put the exact address here on screen and in the description box. Relief Web is kind of like a go-to hub for everything on humanitarian action, humanitarian policy discussions, humanitarian briefings, humanitarian jobs, okay? So once you navigate to the site, you'll go and you look at the top and there's a section called jobs. Click on the jobs and then you can filter by the thing on the side if you're looking for a specific country that you want to work in, if you're looking for specific organization, if you're looking for a specific level of job, you can go onto this website and filter everything you want. By the way, if you are looking for, as a Kenyan, a job outside of the country, you will need to have humanitarian experience on your CV. You are not going to get considered for a job in another country as a brand newbie, okay? So just to let you know, yeah? Just letting you know. So work within the parameters that you should, if that makes sense, yeah? So filter on there and go and have a look for a job. Also on that website, you can just click by country. So you can go to country and start doing some reading around the country that you want to work in and the region that you want to work in, because a lot of this are regional dynamics, so that if you get called for interview or if you want to write your cover letter and include something about what you know about the region, you can pull on something, right? And it's going to be very important to keep up to date with what's going on in the humanitarian sector round the clock, even during your career. So that's just a top tippy tip, right? Right, so for lipstick, I am just cutting open the Pauline Cosmetics collaboration with Caroline Mutoko. So they collabed and have released 4 bullet lipsticks. God, it's wrapped quite tightly. And they're only available at certain Vivo stores. So I was at the Hub over the weekend and managed to pick one up. So the packaging looks like this. It's a black box and I got the shade Glamour Mama. Ooh, so the tube is red. So it's a red shiny tube. Let me swatch it for you. So can you see it there? It's a deep brown, almost with purpley grey undertones. It's definitely cool toned. So I am going to pair that with a dark lip liner. Yeah, and I'm going to go with this colour. So I'm going to use a NYX suede lip liner in the colour Club Hopper. It's kind of like a purpley brown. I just want to sharpen it. And whack that on. So I've got a bright eye and deep lips. I don't know whether I'm gonna like this color combo, the lips and the eyes, but let me do it. And then I'll see how I feel about it. I might change it up. So I'm just gonna swipe this on. Oh, it feels so good. It's like moisturizing on the lid. All right, Okay, so that brings me to the end of the video. It was definitely a bit of a 2-in-1 and I hope you found it useful. Drop me as per usual any comments, questions you have about this in the description bar below. I will be happy to chat to you. And let me just confirm. Yes, so you can get the eyeliner, the mascara, and what else? The concealers, and the powder, and the brow gel from Cocoon Beauty, but I'll make sure to mark everything with an asterisk below so that you can see what you can get from Cocoon Beauty. Yeah, it was lovely to hang out, and thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.